Okay, we started already. G'day, guys. I'm just here to have a chat about Survivor 50, Episode 1, In the Hands of the Fans. What an episode. I really enjoyed it. It was one of the best US Survivor episodes I've seen for quite a few years. It was just great. The way it was set up, the fan service, seeing the old and the new, and then seeing the tribes and seeing the people, hugging and forming relationships and seeing some of the old favorites like Colby and Coach and Ozzy and Sari, and then some of the new players like, Kyle and Genevieve. And there was just so many. So whatever you think about the cast, there's someone for everyone, for every fan, I think, in this season. It started off with a bang. We thought the Purple Tribe might struggle, but they did really well in challenges. And Jenna was, I'm going to call them by the colours, the Orange Tribe, wasn't it? Yep, she got there and she was already sort of playing hard, so to speak. She was saying names, and over in the other tribe, you see Chrissy was sort of almost dropping names as well. Very interesting play that they'd start dropping names before the immunity challenge. But I think that they feel that they are kind of on the bottom a little bit. And I think Jenna probably will explain that in her exit interviews. So it was really cool. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. There's a lot to say about it. There was a lot of dynamics. We saw a lot of some of the big players. Coach had a lot to say. Ozzy had a lot to say. There was journeys, there was challenges, there was unfortunately Medivac, spoiler warnings, and it was really, really great. The few players that surprised me so far was Savannah didn't surprise me, but I think that she was outstanding. Obviously, at the end of the episode, she's kind of got a target, but yeah, Mike White was funny. He got pretty good at it, actually. I would say that most of the old school players were showed pretty well. It was those middle sort of the middle school players, which some of them we haven't sort of had a great seen them yet. Like we haven't seen a lot of Chrissy, we haven't seen a lot of Angelina, I haven't really seen a lot of Aubrey. I'd like to mention the Aubrey and Genevieve. That was just such an interesting thing because Aubrey's my girl, she's my Winnipeg, and I was thinking, what are you doing? But the editors have left that in there for a reason. Hopefully, it alludes to something later that happens in the game, not earlier. So hopefully, we get to see them go head to head or work together, or something could happen later on down the track. We saw a few other alliances form in the Blue Tribe and the Orange Tribe. We saw the three girls get together in the Blue Tribe: Dee, Tiffany, and Camilla. They weren't showing a lot, but they didn't go to tribal council. So, but yeah, I think Dee's in trouble. Orange Tribe, we saw who ended up leaving. Sari was in all kinds of bother. I don't know why she was given the monkey fist to throw. I mean, that's on the team as well, not just her. But man, she was not good at that. Aubrey took a while, but she just lost it for him, didn't she? This is the immunity challenge. What else we want to talk? There was 2 journeys, wasn't there? Was there 2 journeys? Oh, one was Sweat and Savvy. Yeah. That was interesting. Yeah, I think what coach did was the right move. Let Ozzy do the work and grab the key. But yeah, coach is hypocritical. Ozzy's hypocritical. But yeah, it'll be good to see a showdown between those guys because they really bring they're really essence of the old school of Survivor, aren't they? Their strategies are kind of not like a traditional strategy top people, but they can play, they can do challenges, and we'll see what happens. Q was a huge surprise. He's one of my least liked players of the new era, but he just seemed likable and endearing this time, and it's like he knew he couldn't be annoying straight up. So we see the dynamics in the Orange Tribe. The Orange Tribe loses immunity, of course. So we've got a lot to see about them. Jenna throwing down around Sarie's name. I think that was the right move, taking out Sarie, but she said it too sort of early. She needed to make bonds first before she sort of started throwing names out. Ozzy, I don't think aligning with Sarie is the right move, but I could be wrong. So we see here that Joe and Dee, it suited them to get Sarie out, I think, more. Because I think they could have aligned with Jenna because Jenna sort of didn't have great relationships. Ultimately, I think Christian and Devon steered it towards Jenna because they didn't want Sarie out. Maybe they didn't want her out because they knew the fans wouldn't like it, and they probably didn't want the wrath of the fans. They think they can get Sarie out later. But Sarie, you have to tug it. You have to get her out. She just stays around, and she's really good at getting anyone but me thing and getting people out and making friends and bonds. So it was really, yeah, I think they should have went for Sarie. So it was unanimous on Jenna, of course. And I love a bit of Betty. I love that that it really means a lot to her and that she didn't hug and carry on. But yeah, she made her mistakes and she paid the price, unfortunately. What else was in that episode? There was a lot. But the two, I was able to watch it here in Australia on Stan, 2 hours and 9 minutes without ads, and it breezed through, and it was not boring at all for me. I really enjoyed it. It was, you laugh, cry, cheer. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. So that other challenge with Coach and the journey with Coach and Dee was an interesting one. Not Dee. What's her name? Savannah. So Savannah is Savannah, isn't she? And she just gives everything she's got, but she's really good at connecting with people. And charisma counts for a lot. And Dee, Kyle, and Savannah have charisma in spades. Savannah can come across unlikable if you get the wrong side of her, but I think this episode she did the exactly right thing. She was in a super hard position at the end. So she's probably seen as untrustworthy now and as and the next target because Rick kind of said she has a huge target. Hopefully they'll flip it. I would love to see Ozzy get sent home with I know people want Ozzy in the game. Sent home with all these advantages and his idol, the Boomerang idol. That was interesting, wasn't it? The Billie Eilish idol. But Jen finding it was awesome. Jen was the standout of this episode. Steph was great. Steph and Jen were was a great duo. Steph and Kyle, another little duo. Kyle was in a great spot. Q was in a good spot. Aubrey and Rizzo were a little bit on the outers. Colby was a pretty good spot. But unfortunately, like we were talking about that Journey challenge, and Savannah, which Savannah ended up winning, and Colby lost his vote, and Savannah got a blocker vote. So Colby and Q don't have a vote, and then they lose their, the heart and soul of the alliance, Kyle. And so, wow. So it's all you've got, like, it's you got Jen with a vote, and the other two haven't got a vote. It's really, 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 if they go to tribal, anything could happen. And so, Aubrey and Rizzo, and am I missing a person? Joe? Is Joe in that team? No, Joe's an orange. Q. Anyway, so that yeah, Jen was in such a good spot, as well as Q and Kyle and Colby. But now anything could happen. It was ominous that Q said to the camera, like, I'm going to win this for Kyle. So I think he's going to try his best. So he's either going to go out in spectacular fashion, or I think maybe he wins a whole lot. You just never know. And I think the producers and editors know better to spell it out to us. Jenna will spell out a little bit, but I think they're not going to spell out the winner, so to speak. So hopefully next week we see more of Tiffany, Camilla, and Chrissy, and Angelina, and some of these players, and of course my favorite Aubrey. Hopefully she can get her act together. She seems intimidated by Jen a little bit, or vice versa. Like there's only one room for one of those type of players in the tribe. I think Emily is also one of those type of tribes. I think Emily had a great first episode. It was good to see her make friends. Overall, it's really great. The previews, it's hard to know what's going to happen next. Our coach is in trouble. Is Ozzy in trouble? The most likely one to go, if blue goes to tribal, is D. The most likely in orange would be Savannah, and in purple, cannot pick it. I don't know. I mean, Rizzo was on the outs early, but he can always get his way out of something too. So overall, it was really good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, comment what you think.